Welcome to this Wait a Minute. Thanks for watching. Hold on, maybe a minute, a little bit longer perhaps, and I want to tell you something your Sunday school teacher never told you. Peter walked on the water twice. Let me explain to you. You remember the story that we find in the New Testament. We find that Peter and the disciples are on the water. It's a terrible storm, and Jesus walks out to them. They're not quite sure who it is, and they cry out, and they're afraid at first. They think that perhaps it's a ghost that's walking on the water towards them. And finally, Peter says, "Listen, Jesus, if it's you, tell me to come to you." So you've heard this 100 times in Sunday school. Peter got out of the boat and he begins to walk on water towards Jesus. Now, we're not exactly sure how far he walked, but evidently he took several steps. Somewhere along the way, Scripture tells us that he saw the seas and the storm blowing, and he got his eyes off of his purpose and his focus, and that was Jesus, and he began to sink. And Scripture says that Jesus reached out and Jesus pulled him up. But how did Peter get back to the boat? I believe Peter walked back to the boat hand in hand with Jesus Christ. And here's the reason. In the NIV version of the Bible, it says that Jesus and Peter, when they got back to the boat, they crawled into the boat. Well, here's the problem with the word there, crawled. We're not really sure. It sounds like he might have just kind of crawled into the boat because he was sinking, and maybe Jesus drug him over and he crawled into the boat. But the correct understanding of that word there, which is the Greek word embino, is not crawled, but it is stepped. Jesus and Peter stepped back into the boat. Jesus with Peter walked back to the boat, and they stepped in from one hard surface to another hard surface into the boat. Peter walked on the water twice. Once when he failed, and then another time when Jesus was holding his hand. Through the storm, Jesus and Peter went back to the boat. Now notice this in that scripture as well. Jesus and Peter walk back to the boat. They step into the boat, and Jesus doesn't calm the storm until they're back in the boat. He could have calmed the storm when Peter was out with him and said, "All right, Peter, I'm going to take it easy while we're going back to the boat. I'm going to calm the storm so you can walk back with me." But no, Jesus allowed the storm to continue. And he didn't calm the storm until he got back in the boat with Peter and the other disciples. This has to say something to you and I. And that is that as we go through our storms, as we go through our problems in life, rather than trying to simply look at Jesus and try to make it to him and inevitably fail, why not hold on to his hand? Allow him to guide you through your storm today. He didn't calm the storm for Peter while they were in the middle of it, but he was with him every step of the way on the way back to the boat. Well, this has been a Wait a Minute. If you liked it, pass it on.